Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to tear down, clean, and rebuild this carburetor. This is a Tecumseh, it's a Series 11 carburetor. This particular one has a primer on here. There's no jets, air fuel to mess with. This right here is your throttle to increase your RPM for your engine or decrease it. What we'll have to do is take the bowl nut off the bottom. These bowl nuts, usually on the Tecumseh and the Briggs & Stratton engines, are a jet. If you look at this very carefully, you can see that there's a hole that goes all the way through on the bottom. There's another hole up here at the top on this particular one, and then in the center here is a hole. You're going to want to inspect the bowl nut gasket to make sure that there's no cracks or tears in it, because if you don't, it will leak. Once you separate the bowl, you're going to look in it. You're going to see if there's any debris in there, if there's any puddles of water, if the gas smells bad, looks really yellowish. It should almost look very clear. So we'll set that aside. We'll put our bowl nut inside. Here's the inside of our carburetor. Right here is the hinge pin for the float. Most of these you can take out with your fingers or a pair of needle nose pliers. You're just going to gently grab that, pull that out, stick that off to the side, and then you'll see the float will lift out, and here's the needle valve right here. We'll set those aside. Now here, this is where the bowl nut screws into on the bottom. You've got a tube inside there. This is the emulsion tube. This is where the fuel is drawn up through the bowl nut into the emulsion tube. The vacuum of the engine vaporizes the fuel. And if we look right here, let me open up this butterfly valve. You can see right there, that's the emulsion tube. That's where the vaporized fuel and air will mix inside your carburetor. Most of the time when you go to remove your emulsion tube, you'll go in here with a screwdriver, flathead, and you will put it on top of the emulsion tube and just pry a little bit. See if we can get down in there and get that to drop out entirely. We're almost there. Let me grab a pick. Comes in handy to have some picks or a small object. You can even use the linkage off the carburetor if you've got it. So we'll go in here with our 90-degree pick and see if we can feed that tube down the rest of the way. We've almost got it. A lot of your carburetors, this emulsion tube will be plastic, sometimes blue, sometimes red. This particular one is made of brass. There, let's see if we can get this out of here now. There it is. Almost all emulsion tubes will have two O-rings on them. One will be here, one will be here. This particular emulsion tube has got a fine hole right through here that goes all the way through, and that's the only ones. Alright, once your emulsion tube is out, I've got here a Briggs carburetor because I wanted to show you something. This particular carburetor on the Tecumseh, this has a brass fitting in here. This is where your needle valve goes in. Your fuel comes in through here, comes down through there. The float operates the needle valve, turning the fuel on and off. Brass ones are a little bit different to replace. We're not going to go into that in this video. But a lot of times they'll look like this. And we look down inside here and you'll see a rubber needle valve seat. Every one I've ever seen has got a groove on the bottom and the top side is flat. When you buy a kit for rebuilding, such as this particular one right here, the part number is 631021B. I'm not sure if that is the manufacturer's part number or the part number from the company I bought it. But these, for the Tecumsehs, will come with a bowl gasket. They'll come with a new bowl nut gasket. They'll come with a new needle. And they'll come with a new seat down in the bottom. To insert them, I usually use this Tecumseh tool right here. It's part number 670377. You can work on Tecumseh carburetors with it. You can work on Briggs & Stratton with it. All this is about the size of a number 4 crochet hook. And then on the other end we just have a little nipple that you take your needle seat and put on it. You want to have the groove being visible to you, and you're going to insert it down inside the carburetor like so. Press it into place, and that's it. If you don't have this tool, that's fine. Like I said, a number 4 crochet hook to get it out, and to insert it, what you would use then would be a 1/4 inch drill bit, using the back end of the drill bit, not the cutting end, and you would just push it down into there until it's completely seated. So, once you've got that removed, and you remove the bowl nut gasket, if you're going to dip the carburetor in a cleaning tank, you're going to need to hook this metal ring right here, pop it out, and remove the rubber primer bulb. In this case, I would just use cleaner that you can get at your local automotive store. It's usually carburetor and choke cleaner. And we would spray inside where the emulsion tube goes. We would spray inside here. You would look for any orifices. This is a breather tube. Here's an orifice right here. This goes down all the way through here into this Welsh plug. And it actually comes out where the emulsion tube goes in. I would clean the outside of it off, and then that would be it. Let me get some air and we'll blow that off. Whenever you're using carburetor cleaner, always make sure you have safety glasses. I recommend gloves. Especially if you're using compressed air, you want some safety glasses. We're just going to blow through it and make sure everything is cleaned out. That's part of the primer. And right there. Once you've done that, you're going to take your emulsion tube. You're going to place it in here. And the reason we removed anything made of rubber out of this is because most of your carburetor cleaners and most of your dip tanks for carburetors, they will destroy the rubber. So after you get done with that, push that, and you can see it inside here. Right there. It's all the way up, it's all the way seated. If you have any holes on the side like this one right here, you'll run a little fishing line through it. Then at that point, we'll insert the new seat if needed. If you have a setup like this one where it's brass, then you don't need to replace the seat. All you need to do is replace the needle valve itself. We slide the needle valve on the metal tab, and we ever so carefully insert the needle valve into the seat. Let that set down like that. Then we take our hinge pin and we just work that through. Now on the Tecumsehs, this tool, you'll notice the flat side on it. This is set up to measure right there between your float and the body of the carburetor. And you can press the metal tab on the float up. That will lower it. If you go in there with the screwdriver and pull it down, that will raise it. Okay, once we have that on, we'll put our bowl gasket on. We'll take our bowl. You see the flat area right here. We're going to put that directly over the hinge like so. And then we'll take our bowl nut, reinstall that, and we'll tighten her down. We don't want to go too aggressive on this. Again, this is aluminum and brass. So we snug that up. We reinsert our air breather. And you just cleaned and or rebuilt a Tecumseh Series 11 carburetor. Thanks for watching.